Investment property IS 40 comes up with a very interesting background. So let me share with you what the background it starts with. Investment can be done where? If there is my operating activity, if that is if I invest in fixed assets, which is now called as PPE, or intangibles, or working capital like inventory or debtors, they are shown separately. But after doing all that, still there are surplus funds. And we don't see any special benefit in the current operating activity. What will a businessman do? Buy a new factory, go for acquisition, start a new business line altogether. But all these things require the competence to handle the larger activity or a different activity or diversified product. They are all sometimes question mark. And every entrepreneur may have his risk appetite to a certain extent. So then what is happens? He decides that I will hand over the management of my surplus funds, getting returns in somebody else's hand. Somebody else is what? Nothing but market. And if you want appreciation, which are the assets which appreciate? Or which are the assets which give return? You can say shares and debentures, financial assets, or options and derivatives, so financial instruments. Then you can have gold. Then you can have shortage because of that real estate. That is land and building, property. What else can be appreciable asset? So by and large, these only can be appreciable asset. The fixed assets, the inventory, they will not be appreciating. Now, among this, if you keep aside the gold, okay, the shares debentures are financial aspects, whereas the real estate is a non-financial or non-monetary item. So therefore, unlike the legacy standard, the investment was split between financial instrument, which went to IFRS 9, and clubbed with even the operating investments in financial instruments. So trade receivable and surplus investment in shares come together under financial instruments, because that is called leveraging. On the other hand, the non-financial surplus, that property goes into. So if I have to compare property, plant, equipment, which also can have a property, land and building, or investment property can also have, or inventory can also have, or a held for sale can also have. So this is what held for use in business. This is what perhaps held for or even constructed for sale. This is surplus property to dispose, which is from operating business, whereas here it is surplus money being invested, surplus cash or cash profits or money being invested. Are you with me? So that's how we are going about it. Surplus cash being invested. All right. So here, that surplus money can go into the property which is called as investment property, and therefore that will be that returns will either come in the form of capital appreciation, the land and building prices go up because there is a nature's shortage, or in the meantime, or even otherwise, we want to earn rentals. So it will not be excludes ordinary course of business sale, inventory, or for use in business, or constructed on behalf of third party. No, that's not. Constructed on behalf of third party is a contract asset. Then it has to be an asset. The probable future economic benefit should be there, and cost should be measured. Now, measured initially at cost, but this has an amendment that during the construction period also you can move to fair value if it is reliably measurable. Measured initially at cost is correct, but during the unlike PPE, which can be measured at cost only and even initially capitalized at cost. Then model. Model can be either cost model or fair value model. If it is a cost model, then disclosing fair value is compulsory. So it means notes to accounts will have a disclosure of fair value. Obviously, the valuer has to come into picture. On the other hand, if there is a depreciation, then the fair value anyway has an inbuilt depreciation. So no depreciation in case of fair value. Anyway, there is appreciation, so that should happen. Now, sometimes what happens, when you buy a land or when you buy a property, you are not sure. Should I put it for my own business purpose? Office building, warehouse, factory building. And sometimes I perhaps want to invest for appreciation. In that case, capitalize as per potential use. What is in your top of your mind? Go by that. Sometimes it happens that it's a combination of the two. I know a retail mall where the owner created in order to start his own businesses also, as well as to give it on rent. And the ratio decided was something like 50-50. So in that case, that should be separately accounted as PP as well as investment. Of course, the insignificant portion is non-investment, then treat the whole thing as investment property. Generally, you're planned for investment property, but you said, okay, something is remaining, let me use for my office. The whole thing is investment property. So go by substance, go by the basic intention. Then we talk about change in the fair value. Change in the fair value goes to P&L. Now that is very important. It's completely different from PPE or even intangibles. PPE and intangibles, the change in the fair value goes through other comprehensive, whereas here it goes through profit and loss, because the whole purpose of that investment property is to make appreciation based profit. And if the use changes, then you have to transfer it and to and from, but accordingly you have to decide as to which model is applicable to that next usage. I mean, you may have IP to property, IP to PP, or PP to IP. And IP and PP as an accounting policy choice, one company may have different models. In one case, cost model, in another case, fair value model is quite likely. In that case, on the transfer date, which can be in the mid of the year also, for the last time, the policy choice of cost and fair value should be applied, and accordingly valuation should be done and brought in the books before making transfer. Withdrawn from use, remove it. Disposal, remove it. If there is a cost model and if there is a transfer between IP and property and inventory, then the carrying value does not change up to that date of depreciation passing, subject to impairment testing. Whereas in the fair value model, then you have to see that will be treated as a deemed cost for the other model. So in short, date of change of use is very important, on which date this standard should be applied. The cost model, till it is able to reliably able to measure the fair value model, if on the self-constructed investment property we decide to use fair value model. So that's possible in this. One has to be very careful. So let me explain you this in simple language. Let's say there was IP to PPE transfer, and IP was using cost model and PPE is under the fair value model. So on the date of transfer, the cost model should be taken as, should be depreciated and impairment testing on the date of transfer. Date of transfer. Okay. And then that amount is pushed to PPE as a deemed cost. And if it is using fair value model, in the immediately coming reporting date, the valuation will be done. Evaluation is done. On the other hand, if we want from IP to PP and IP is at fair value and PP is at cost, then on the date of transfer, last valuation will be done as IP, difference will be taken to P&L, and then the fair value is carried as deemed cost for PP. Then suppose we are transferring from PP to IP. PP has a cost model and IP has a fair value model. So PP on the last date will be cost depreciated and impairment testing. Then that value, at that value transferred to IP, and in the next reporting date, fair value change will be to P&L. PP is at fair value and IP is at cost. Then take the PP on the date of transfer, last revaluation reserve in OCI, and then shifted and treated as a deemed cost of IP. So similar fundamentals you can apply for inventory to PP or inventory to IP. So the investment property standards stands completed. Any queries on investment property? Please ask. I think we are discussing IAS 40, which is property, land and building. Whereas somebody asking a question on State Bank's investment in Yes Bank, that's a different issue. That will be dealt when we come to financial assets. Illustrations are simple. Associated Capsule had a factory in Kandivali, Hindustan Naka. Later on, they shifted it to Shirpur near Pune. And that building, Kandivali, Hindustan Naka, became a surplus property, was moved from PP to investment property. So there are many such cases where people shifted from PP. I mean, many companies in Nariman Point have shifted to BKC and still holding that place because it is their own and has become surplus, and they are looking at increasing in the value of those. So it will be interesting to see the comparison of these three. PP is the cost or fair value model allowed? Yes, in all three cases, PP or intangible or investment property. Can you use the fair value? PP, yes. Investment property, yes. Whereas intangible asset, only if there is active market, they can use fair value. Depreciation and amortization, yes. PP, we are doing depreciation. Intangible, we are doing amortization. Whereas in investment property, yes, depreciation under cost model, but no under fair value model. Are we required to disclose FV in the cost model? Not for PP, not for intangible, but certainly yes for investment property. Change in the fair value, if it is increased, then it goes to OCI in case of PP and intangible. Whereas in investment property, it has to go to P&L. Residual value is estimated in case of PP, will be treated as zero unless guaranteed by third party. And investment property is again estimated residual value in case of cost. Then held for more than one period, of course, but the PP is for business. Intangible is also for business. There is investment properties for appreciation and renting. Borrowing cost capitalization, PP on qualifying assets till capitalization. Intangible generally no. Whereas investment property up to the capitalization date or change to fair value model even during capitalization period, whichever is earlier if you decide to use fair value model. All right. Any questions on this? Any queries? Any queries? Those who are from Mumbai, they will be knowing Nirmal Lifestyle, a retail mall, how it was constructed and how it was treated in the books. Or Malad, there are Infinity Mall. These are all falling under investment property of the original builders. All right, no queries here. I'm happy that you're understanding everything, and even for the small standards, I'm going into as much depth as possible, thanks to Corona. Prajakta, I don't want you to look at the slide. Now, this is a big problem. I want you to understand the concepts. If you are not understanding concepts and required to read slides, then I'm worried. Answer is simple. Don't try to mug up. If you are moving from IP to PP, first find out what is your IP model generally and what is your PP model generally, because you may have 4 or 5 investment properties and 5 10 property plant equipment. Now the similar type of property under PP, are you following cost model or fair value model? Similarly, this IP, are you following cost model or fair value model? First decide that. Then I said that if you are using cost model, then on the last day of transfer from IP to PP, you should do depreciation and impairment testing up to that date. That is called cost model. But if you are using fair value model in investment property, on the last day of transfer, for the last time under the same standard, you should do evaluation and charge to P&L. Then that amount which comes is transferred to PP. Now that is treated as a deemed cost or deemed fair value, depending upon the model you have for PP. And then what does PP say about cost? Every year end reporting date, do impairment testing and depreciate. We are using cost model. But if you are using a fair value model in PP, then do the valuation at the end of reporting date for PP. Let's talk about reverse. Suppose you want to transfer from PP to investment property. Decide first, what is your PP's cost or fair value? Are you using cost or fair value model? Again in IP, are you using cost or fair value model? In the PP, if you are using cost model, on the transfer date, before transferring, do the depreciation up to that date and impairment testing. And take that as a deemed cost for IP, or if IP is following fair value, then deemed fair value on that day. And accordingly start. So if it's a deemed cost, then you are using cost model under IP, do depreciation, do impairment testing. If you are using a fair value model, then do the appreciation by doing the fair value and take the fair valuation profit or loss to P&L. Now let me tell you about IP to inventory and inventory to IP. IP to inventory, if you are taking, suppose IP is at cost, then that cost should be recognized for the last time cost or fair value model. And then that amount be transferred to inventory at a deemed cost. Okay, treating that cost is lower than NRV. And on the reporting date, compare it with the NRV. And if the NRV is lower, or even there could be some additions in between, add that to the cost of that inventory and compare with NRV on the reporting date, whichever is lower, value it. So in short, the principle is on the transfer date, whatever is the currently used standard, for the last time, apply it before transfer. And then carry as a deemed cost or deemed fair value, depending upon where it is transferred and what is the principle or accounting policy choice followed there. Doesn't make it clear? Because my big worry is you make it as a mugging up principle. Principle is very, very simple. All right. So good. We are already at 4:50, and whatever was to be covered today, grasp it thoroughly, solve from past papers, practical sentence question papers. All right. We are now completing for the day. Thank you. Thank you to everybody. Bye-bye.